What's going on with my friends in YouTube land? It's been a few days or more since I've done a video. I think I talked about the fan a little bit coming in, and I'm going to talk more in detail about that air conditioning install. Excuse me, my phone is going crazy here. We got together yesterday and we mapped out how that fan's going to go in, and fingers crossed this thing really goes in like it should. We've got a plan. Gonna have to probably drill couple holes in the floor over here again and get grommets and get them sealed. And that's another thing I gotta find tomorrow. I forgot. I gotta get the drill bit and the grommets. Silicone, not a problem. We got all that. That'll work. So we'll talk further. I'm gonna do an in-depth video on how I install that cruise and comfort system because it needs to happen. It really does. And I think, cruise and comfort, like to see, how some people install them in some of these vans, like ProMasters and Sprinter vans, and have a variety. I mean, mine will be like how I installed it on the bottom of a ProMaster and how we did it. So it'll be interesting. They told me when I asked them, questions about the install, and they're like, every install is different. Can't tell you specifically. It's what works for me, and a type of vehicle doesn't work for them. So that's definitely going to happen. So I picked up supplies on that. So I've been getting a lot of cool music done. I've got a big album I got to get done for somebody out in Los Angeles. This guy has won 6 Emmy Awards. This guy's, to me, he's the real deal. Very incredible composer. So I'm working on some really cool tension tracks. On my other channel, I did a couple of videos earlier on some samples that I worked with and how I sampled a Coke can and actually put it in this second track towards this album that I'm doing. It's kind of cool. And my other channel, I'm going to put it in the description. It's just Chris Williams Music, and you'll see it. It may suggest when you're watching this. Go watch those videos. It's kind of cool how I did it. I just had an epiphany. I was opening up a Coke Zero. I drink Coke Zero. I can't drink regular Coke. And I was like, I know it's been done before, but I'm going to sample this and see what I can do with it. So we definitely did that. It was real cool. So more to come with that, indeed. Absolutely. But I got to thinking about something I want to talk about. And that is simply this. A lot of people talk about wanting to get into RV or van life, and maybe they're unsure how to do it, but there are some people that'll jump into it and not realize that I'm going to travel and I'm going to do all this and I don't know what to do, but I'm just going to do it. And they realize, oh hell, I need money for gas. And I've got debt, and I've got all this stuff going on, and what do? They end up having to come back home and figure it all out and go, well, maybe it was van life or RV life that didn't work. It's not really that, because I will tell you this, and I recommend anybody who's looking to do RV, if you want to cut expenses to pay debt off and live a lower cost of living, which is really cool, this is not a bad thing. I mean, I'm living great in this van. I love it. I can do pretty much anything I can do in a house. There's not a washer and dryer in here, but I can cook and have all the luxuries and the comfort of home in here, and I love it. And I can go anywhere I want. But to cut living expenses to save money and do what you want with and have money to do things like travel and the things you want, you got to do it right. And I will tell anybody, if you need to go RV life to cut expenses or van life like this, just to get debt paid off and you're pretty much going to work and you're in one place every day, go for it as soon as possible. Get it done if you can do it. Get out of your rent. Do what you got to do. If you have to just sell the house, take the equity, put it in savings, and if you get another house or put it into a van, do it. Do it indeed. I was in a fortunate circumstance where I've invested in my house and I worked hard, and I was able to pay cash for the RV, and when I got this, I built it, and then I paid cash for the build, and then when I sold the RV, I paid this van off. So my living expenses, I'll tell you, with me alone, are probably barely not even $1,000 a month right now. That's health insurance and everything that I'm doing here, folks. You can do it, but everybody's situation is different. Don't look at my situation and think, oh, that's exactly how it'll be. Because I will tell you by experience and and it can't stress it enough, is if you're looking to get into a van life where you want to travel, number one, and no matter what, get rid of your debt. I don't care what living situation you're in, get rid of your debt. Get it gone, don't do it. Debt is slavery, and the only good debt is a house, paying a house note because you're investing in something that's yours. Provided you've invested in a home, is in a good area, you know you're going to get a return on. And a lot of places around the country it's like that. There are some places that you got to do your research. You end up being stuck with that house, and you don't want to be in that situation. So, but like I say, just make sure you get rid of debt. If you're going to travel with van life or RV life, whatever you do, have a plan for one. But number two, have income coming in. Now, you know, you get $500,000 or something like that in the bank, and you want to take a couple years off and travel, do it. You know, I mean, you'll be fine. But don't just burn through all that money. You know, don't do it. What you need to do is have some income coming in just to pay your expenses and some extra, set some money back. If you don't have means for that, just get a means for an income to work while you're on the road. But number two, most importantly, have a cushion for some savings, because let's say you got a YouTube channel that's doing well and it's bringing you income a month. And let's say that drops and you're on the road and there's no money coming in. That's happened to people. That income funnel has stopped. Because, you know, YouTube at the end of the day is controlling that. They'll cut your throat. I know somebody that cut her throat, and she's pissed. They just claimed that her account monetization was deleted months ago, and yet they held her money and it still showed there. So she said, I'm going to demonetize the account because I don't want them showing ads on my videos. I don't want them to make money on my videos if they're going to do that to me. And it happens. But, you know, have a cushion, have some stuff for unforeseens, emergencies, something, money that could get you back home, and you come back home and reconvene. Now, you got a lot of people that want to have one home base, and you can do it. You can have a home base in this van, or you can have a home base and travel part-time in a van as well. The choice is yours. If your van's your home base and you have a home base here and you come home and you work a few months and then you want to hit a month on the road and you're doing something, working for yourself, you know, I work for myself. I do music for film and TV. And now when I come home, I Uber too. I get out the house and not Uber. I used to do that. I Grubhub. I don't Uber anymore. I got tired of that. But anyway, I got tired of people in my car. It's a whole different subject. We'll talk about that later. But I deliver Grubhub a little bit and do that just to get out the house. And, you know, and a lot of it is just putting money back to travel with and doing a lot of things, which is good. And having that income that carries me if I hit the road for a couple months in a year. What I want to do is get my film and TV music to a point where everything is strong and consistent, to a point where I can stay as long as I want, stay anywhere I want. You know, this is my home base, but I can, you know, I can do my music anywhere. I mean, right now I can live anywhere, you know, if I want to do it and do whatever I want. I can make still South Carolina my home, or I can create home base in another state. It just depends on what I want to do, you know. I don't want to jump ship out of my home state as of yet that I know of. I mean, I'm home here, and that's what I want it to be. So this is where my family is and everything else. So, but anyway, have a plan if you're going to get into RV life or van life. Don't get into this thinking it's going to be all end all for no matter what your situation is. You have to know your plan and your situation. Again, everybody's situation is different. If you're looking to, you got to get out of debt and you want to save some money and you're close to home, you go to work every day, listen, you can live in one of these. There's a lot of places you can live in and stay, and you've got so many options. I have Planet Fitness to go shower. If I'm not here close to my dad's, I shower at Planet Fitness. There's so many places you can stay and still park in this thing, and they don't give you a second look of you in that vehicle. You get a network of places to stay. It's endless. If you decide you want to pay a little rent at an RV park, you can do that. You're still cutting expenses because, I mean, you got to look at, if you're in an apartment or a house, minimum your living expenses can be right around $18,000 a year. I'm saving that back, a year living in this van. So I look at it as this van cost me about $36,000. And the build costs me everything, even when I get the swivel cut and all, it's right around $13,000 for this build. I'll have that paid back in a year of money I'm setting back. And then paying back, I'm paying it back to myself, And the van itself, I'm going to pay that back as if I'm paying a loan. I'm putting it in my savings account, higher than the rate of depreciation. So if I decide I ever want to sell the van, I take the difference of the depreciation and bring all that money back to me. So that's the way you do it, you know. Don't get into van life and get a van note and then put the build on a credit card and go, oh, now I've created more expenses as if I'm in the apartment again or I'm in the house. You got a $600 and something van note a month, and then you got to pay $200 or $300 a month for a credit card. Don't do that. I would suggest follow some of these van channels that started out very slim in an older van that was dirt cheap and made a really cool build out of it. Dirt cheap. They just built a bed with some totes in the back, and you had a good simple portable power system. I talked about my Energy Apex, this puppy right there. That thing is killer. I mean, I fired up my base camp lights that come with that unit, and those things, probably all the light I needed in here was those. But, you know, you can get a good portable power system. A lot of things you can do with that. You can run a microwave with it. You can run your coffee. And there's things you can do. My refrigerator was only a few $100. 12-volt fridge. You get a good battery system. Get some good solar panels. The sky's the limit what you can do, and you can live however you want. And then you get enough money, you get your debt paid off, and you can pay cash for a better vehicle or build a better van. Or if you want to go back and live in an apartment or house, you're out of debt. And you can control, you know, your situation however you want. So don't jump into things and figure, well, I'll buy an RV or a van and I'll pay on it and I'll hit the road. You know, if you're in debt and you don't have a lot of income going on and you get a van note, you know, and a credit card payment of, you know, the money you put in the build, you're not helping your cause. In fact, I know exactly what the van note, the average would be for this van because I don't have the 3500 Extended ProMaster. I've got the 2500. Unless you want that extra footage, that's an extra $10,000 on this van. I didn't go for it. You don't need it unless you really want that extra space to put maybe a bathroom in the back or extra storage. You just don't need it. This van costs about $36,000, and it's, mind you, it's not like financing a car. It's financed because it's a cargo vehicle or a commercial type vehicle. Insurance is in the same realm. That's another subject to talk about later. But the note on it, I paid the note a couple of months before I sold the RV, and then I paid it off. $628 a month. I don't know what the interest rate was. I can't remember. I just know that I think it was around maybe 3.5%, 4%. And that's another thing. Interest rate's a little bit higher on a vehicle like this, just because it's a commercial vehicle and there's only very few companies that finance these vehicles. Very few. There's not a lot of them. I bought 2 of them for my business, and those commercial vehicles, there wasn't but a couple of vehicles that would finance those. You know, I had a business attached to them. The insurance was different on the business. But when it's a personal vehicle, it's a little bit harder. So, and we'll talk about that later. But anyway, I just wanted to, I couldn't stress enough to please just think before you get into RV and van life. Do your research. I did 2 or 3 years worth of research and had a plan in place. Put a plan in place. Know your situation and know what you want to do. And it'll work out for you. I know it will. I'm going to get off here. It's late. And I will holler back at you when we get this thing installed. We're going to get probably the fan installed under the floor. And when the AC comes, we'll get that. And then we'll do the window. But I'll keep you guys posted. And I think what I'm going to probably do is just film a build series and then do it all at once. I'm not going to really film as we go along on that whole install process with air conditioning. But we'll do it. I'll also probably do a video on the window install. There's a few of them out there, but why not? As we'll do it. Anyway, I'm off. Be cool. And thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next. Be cool. Bye.